Hot dog. Good morning, everybody. Graham here, POC Gamer, and it is time for some more mapping. Um, this is the now twice weekly live mapping stream where I will be working on the 90-minute village, which has been rapidly expanding and developing. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It's most appreciated. Whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or over on Twitch. All right. So this is where we left off last day. So we'd started to develop up here as a potential encounter area. We'd added the Mage Guild, developed the Adventurers area a little bit, moved that around, and overall things were looking really good. But we need to get some more stuff going on because encounters around a village can be just as rewarding and just as interesting as giant save the world sorts of adventures. And the reason for that, and actually in my opinion, they can actually be a little bit more fulfilling and a bit more exciting for your players. And the reason for that is it's more personal. Like, it's fun to do save the world every so often. It's good, it's fun, people get into it. Oh, we saved the world, we're awesome. But one of the downsides to it is that it becomes very samey after a while. And what I mean by that is, so I'm going to let's expand that. There we go. Drop that down in the corner to give us some more space to work with again now. And the reason things start to feel samey is because, last campaign we saved the universe from the demon invasion. This time it was, giants. This time it was some new cosmic threat or some new super wizard or some new blah, 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 blah. And it can be fun. Like, those campaigns can be fun. But they rapidly become very impersonal, I find, simply because it's so far out of the scope from what people think, how people experience things, all that sort of stuff. And so what I like to do is, for a lot of adventures, is to sort of keep things local or use targeted localities. And the reason for that is that it's easier for people to get to know this, get attached to the NPCs in it, become part of the local scene and fabric of the community, all that sort of thing, than it is for them to, leap from kingdom to kingdom to kingdom to collect the 6 parts of whatever to assemble the, super ancient weapon to save the universe. Anyways, enough of that. Small adventures are fun, is what I'm saying. And so we're just going to do a little bit more tidy up, a little bit more improvement of things. And then we are going to develop some more encounter space. So I want this area to have a fair amount of woodlands in it. But not so much that it takes over the entire... Oh, there we go. Hidden odd button there. Not so much, though, that it takes over the entire map. Like, you don't want the entire map to look like trees. especially at this scale. And this is one of the things you get to deal with, like for example, so for people who've been watching this for a little while now, when I started this out, it was just this area here. So it's pretty small. And having the sort of like wall of trees right here looked really good on that map. But when I expanded it, I found that now I need to deal with the fact that I have this virtual wall. And so to do that, just extend it out, make it some fairly heavy looking forest there. Throw a couple of trees out on those guys there. Yeah. Don't worry about putting stuff over stamps over top of a big label like that. We can fix that in a moment. Hit that save button. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention it. This is a 90-minute stream today. The goal moving forward, as I mentioned in the last stream, is to do 90 minutes of mapping each time now for this particular little project. Because I think the 90-minute village sounds pretty catchy. And it's nice to show what you can do in an hour and a half of work with it. Yeah, that looks good. What I'll do here is I'll select this. Okay, if that's not cooperating, then I'll move these down layers. So this is all nice and easy stuff to do. Like I've said before, Incarnate's a super user-friendly program to operate. Like any other app, it has its own issues and tricks and stuff that you have to get used to. But overall, I really enjoy the ease in which I'm able to work with stuff on it. So I'll fit that to the screen. So that's looking pretty good down there. So the areas down here, a little less forested. That's probably the area they're depending on for regrowth. So it's little plants I was using for the swamp area down. There we go. Ah, yes, rocks. Scatter some more of those around. So the nice thing about rocks is you can also use them as markers for stuff. So, for example, these two rocks are pretty clearly marking the path you follow up to the Mage Guild there. Let's scatter some big boulders around. There we go. Nice. Got some rocks happening. Let's hit a few more stumps. Nice signs of human activity. And fewer stumps up here just because this is the location, like this is obviously less well. There's a creek to cross and stuff like that, so it'd be a little harder to get things. And now I'm going to come over here to the paintbrush. Select that. Make that way smaller. Squiggles. Some opacity. Drop that down to 3. Sure it's in foreground. That just goes out to the forest, or to that area that's where there's been cutting. Okay, now let's see what we've got. Pylon? Nope. Crystal? What have we got to work with here? What is this? Blue domes. I love this desert set. It's really nice. Really looking forward to doing a desert village area. I've got some really cool ideas for it. Maybe some sort of like pit going down and have like the village going down like that, but we will see later. Oh, we've got giant trees. Oh, I like that. Yeah, I was actually looking for something like that. And we've got some fluorescent plants, so no, this is like the 98 size, so this is how big this tree is. So let's fit screen. So, yeah, got a giant tree there, and just wondering if I could throw another one down. Maybe right there? There we go. Catalog, and now we're going to select those fluorescent plants. So those are size 39. So fluorescent plants, and yeah, size 39, there we go. Add some color to the swampy areas. Now this may seem like minor or just cosmetic, but within the lore of the setting or the lore of the this, what a game master might do is just determine that some of these will be maybe either medicinal or have special properties during certain times of the year. And so, you know, you go out to gather them, but maybe there's something else, some weird bug or some monster of some sort that wants to collect them at the same time. So it's just one of those little adventure hooks that you could throw out right away. Same thing by having, let me zoom fit to screen and then hit save. It's got 274 changes. So as you can see, what I've done is I've sort of set up, I've got these 3 giant trees now. And this is why it's important, even if you're working in, especially with Incarnate, if you're working specifically with, say, human or dwarf or something like that, stamps. Like, you can use them for anything, obviously, but look at what's available in all the categories, because I totally would have missed out on some of these. So we've got like giant trees, giant tree crowns. Like, look at these, they're beautiful. Giant mushrooms, so you could do like a mushroom area if you want to. So yeah, it's options, and these work obviously with any sort of map. Like, I would actually put all these down here with foliage. So you've got like these giant trees look kind of beat up. I'm not going to put them on here, but you know, like, these are more options to use. But right now, just by adding these 3 giant trees, that's already added a new dimension. Like, why are there 3 giant trees here when all the other trees are normal sized? How do the locals use them? Do they maybe have celebrations on them or something like that? Is there festivals they have? Do the trees provide some sort of special fruits or something like that? I got a comment here. Just a myconoid section of town. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you could throw down a bunch of mushrooms and you know, designate them as, you know, like, yeah, there's a fungus part of town. or the locals have, bred the fungus to live inside, or there's options, is what I'm saying. Lots and lots of options. Okay. Speaking of which, I was looking for something I can use as a pylon. Fancy lamppost. Okay. No. It's all super haunted. I do like there's like cliffs and bizarre rocks as options. That's nice. Creepy trees. I want to. Yeah, those are kind of creepy looking. Okay, houses, ruins. Special. I'm curious just to see how big the stadium is. Oh, that's actually a pretty manageable size. I think it's only. Oh, that's size 39. That's why. I scale it up to 98, which is what everything else on this map is. Oh, wow. Oh, that's still pretty manageable. You could do a lot with that. That's cool. See here, terrain, small rocks, big rocks, natural. Natural stairs. Nice. Very cool. No. Don't need waterfalls yet. Definitely got some ideas for something with waterfalls. And it just goes into winter. Oh, university. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to have to go into, I think it's Fantasy Regional HD. We'll see if there's anything usable in here. So what I'm looking for is I want to, because it's not obvious, but I want to have the few areas I've designated as agricultural, so the fields, I want them to be able to produce probably more than they normally would. And the challenge is that I need something. Oh yeah, ethereal flora. I forgot about that. I need something that looks kind of like a pylon, because I've decided I want this to be sort of a high fantasy setting. And so, yeah, there's my go-to crystals that I use for so much stuff. Looks like it looks kind of like a magical pylon to show that they've harnessed magic for doing things. Specifically in this case, keeping the fields active, keeping out pests, all that sort of stuff. The practical sorts of magic that you would expect people in a magical universe to develop. Desert, nope. Dungeon. Oh, now we're talking. Okay, we're getting somewhere now. Effects. Oh, no. That's a pillow? Terrifying. Farmstead. No, that's just a lot of. Oh, here we go. Hell, Market, Orc. Pirate, Prison. Oh, here we go. Wizard. Brains. No, no. Let's see what we got. That's a bit much. Post. Regional HD. Always has to be a challenge, but that's okay. Challenges are good. They keep us sharp and help us get better at things. There's no wizard option. Okay, so that's fine. It's okay. So, what we can do is switch to that. That's all set up. Let's got this paintbrush. There we go. Okay, that's all done. Over here to stamps, and we are going to use small rocks. Perfect. So remember how I was saying that you can use rocks as markers? Well, what we're going to do is we're using these ones more or less as rune stones. Set out around the fields. The variation in size is actually good because what we could do is we could say that it's an indicator of how long they've been there. That the sizes are different and the layouts are different, or a little bit different. But each field has 4 of these stones around it. And what I'll do is come here. Just kind of rotate some of these a little bit. That's good. Yeah. And that solves our problem. Just because it says that it's a small stone in the, or small rock, sorry, in the stamp collection, doesn't mean we have to leave it as a small rock. Okay. really digging this now. Well, I was digging it before. Let's see, Command V. Command V. And V. Yeah, so I left off on 7. So this will be 8. Nine and 10. Okay, so we've got our big trees marked. And now I want to open the catalog, and I want to add, see what we have for towers. Size that up to 98. An old wrecked tower down here. So this, come back down here. And this is number 11. Because that's how small an encounter area can be. Is, you know, something was seen out in the old tower. Something was seen by, you know, the south tree. Got some ruins up here. And I really want to do something up here. Not really much I can do, though, with that lake area. At least not right now. When I expand this out, there's going to be definitely more happening. Okay. Time, half an hour in, and doing well so far. Let's see here. So there's 33 houses, family. So the population here is probably about 150 people. Maybe 160 or so. So I'm going to add a few more houses then. So to get these numbers up a little bit. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Got a commentary. I'm terrible at estimating the population sizes for urban areas. Yeah, I am in very much the same boat a lot of the time. So what I just did to do a quick estimate for here was I just counted the number of houses, like regular size houses, and estimated there's 4 to 5 people in each, which took me up to like 120 or so. Then you've got the big houses there for the more powerful families. So say they got like maybe 15, 20 people in each one. Well, maybe not that many, but a lot of people. So yeah, I just want to add a few extra houses. Just give it a nice population. Oh, right, forgot to mark the temple. So wherever you have your pointer is where this program will paste things, which is pretty nice most of the time. There we go. All right, now I believe there was a mine. Cave. Let's see. Siege weapons are not what? Huh. What do you know? Learn something new every day. All right. How are we going to fit that in? So this is our option for a mine, eh? Okay, well, I can work with that. And we're going to grab this, open it up, and I need hill. thought I'd seen something that was thinner. Hmm. Oh, it looks pretty interesting. Actually, that doesn't look too bad at all. Let's see here, brush layer, open catalog. Look for some darker earth. Come back over here. A fun thing with mines is we're really used to, in the real world, the idea of mines being, these giant operations. That sort of like tear into the earth, all that sort of stuff. Whereas historically, mines could be pretty. I don't know, like we don't like what they're actually mining for in here. Could be something that's close to the surface. Could be a specific mineral they need. Could be something specialized, like it could be a naturally recurring resource, because it's a magical fantasy world. So why not have resources that are capable of renewing themselves? So but it's yet another location where we can add a little bit of, okay, this is a potential spot for adventure to start from. This is 14, I think. $11, $12, $13, $14. Yep, good. And it's visually distinct as well, which is nice. So it draws the eye, like, oh, that's a place. Okay. And none of these really fit. That's pretty cool. I'll do something with that later. All right. So hit that save button. 173 changes. So I think at the moment that this is sufficient for Balom Village to like get things going to be a good jumping off point for the player characters. So it went from a 90-minute village where I just knocked it together very quickly, hoping it would all work out, to a much more developed operation. Where we have lots of stuff, where there's sufficient things in place for this to work. Because that's always going to be a challenge when you're building this sort of place, is that there has to be enough stuff in location to support the adventure and support the players, but there also has to be just enough scarcity that from time to time they may have to leave. So, for example, I didn't drop... there's all kinds of guilds. There's like an alchemist guild, shipwrights, a whole bunch of other stuff that I didn't drop into this village. And as this particular world expands, what I may do is drop a village that would be up to the north somewhere. Maybe that's where the shipyards are. Maybe a town or village off to the east is slightly bigger and has like the alchemists and some other stuff. But the main things for this one is it's on this there we go. It's on a major path, like a major trade route. So this road is fairly major. It goes through the town. So it's going to be a key spot for merchants and caravans and adventurers and stuff who are moving from let's say north to southwest to stop. That's important, because that's a constant influx of potential adventure hooks, items, equipment, all that sort of thing. And if your world is a little better developed, for example, maybe you have a mail system or something like that set up, it's a way for things to get delivered to them. There's a bunch of stuff scattered around now to act as potential adventure sorts of locations. And when I say adventure, I mean it's a local problem, local monsters, local issues, all that sort of stuff. So it's people that the players' characters know and who are interacting with on a regular basis who need help and assistance to deal with problems. And so what I'm going to do is we are going to resize map, new map from region. Start dragging to select a region. Okay. Width 1500, height 1500. There we go. Confirm. New map will be created. Save and proceed. Yes. I had spaces outside the village for that, but I'm probably going to have to go back into it and make better parking lots. So I had a question: where do the caravans and merchants park their wagons, horses, oxen when visiting? So that is good logistical questioning there. And the two ways to deal with that are one, designate spaces, and two, um, nice. And two, oh, did it keep everything the right size? Size 133. Okay, wow, so it's really scaling things oddly here. Yeah. Okay, I remember when I expanded the original Balom Village. I'll rename that in a minute. I remember when I expanded the original one and shifted everything to 98 size, and now it's shifted. So the main thing is to not play with, not try to readjust stuff, because it's doing its thing for scaling, which is good, but it's also, yeah, is how big? Cause this is only 150. This is only 1500 by 1500 pixels that I'm dealing with. So if I drop that tree down to 98, like look how small that gets. Oh, yeah. Okay, so need to add land. So what we're doing now is we're building our first encounter area. So not too worried about overlaps. I'm going to paint over those spaces anyways. There we go. Text, Balom Village. It's a good name. Need more. Too many A's. Grafis Hill. Eyeball that. Alright. And we have our handy little label markers are already in there. There's 115. What size is this? Actually, you know what? I do need to scale this up. That was at 98. I'm not sure how. Oh. Okay. How to do this. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Oh, okay, so we're going to save. I'm going to call this one Grafis Hill Encounter Area. So I've had this happen before where like I've hit a button somewhere over here and the whole thing freezes up and doesn't want to cooperate with me. So what I do is I save it and then um, after it's done saving, what I'll do is I'll come back into it. I'll leave and come back, and that usually fixes the issue. Sure, you can use hills to complement your mountain ranges. on. There's not a lot on this map yet. You can do it. Awesome, map saved. So go back here. I have to rename this map. There we go. And back one more. And it should be fixed. Awesome. There we go. Problem solved. There we go. Apparently hills are only meant to bend one way in Incarnate. I need to sort of swoop that all together. How's that lining up? Oh yeah, that looks good. there. How am I going to stitch all this together? There we go. It's the same piece I had there, just had to look at it differently. Oh, that's awesome. I'll keep that piece up here. Go back in this one. Keep the scales right. Buried in there. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so we got the general outline of the hill done. I've been wanting to use one of these stamps for a while. Green Hill Composites. Oh, that's weird. Big Grass Hill. Interesting. Alright, this will just build a... Whoa, too big. So, the goal with this area is this is what I would describe as a transitional map. The idea with it is that this isn't strictly where the players are going to... Like, this is going to be the map the players will look at when they are coming into... or coming up here to have encounters and adventures to deal with whatever nonsense Use the Game Master has placed for them to deal with. So in this particular map, we're going to use our markers again. I don't know why I keep pointing. It's not here in my den with me. So up here, or in this particular area, instead of marking just a point of interest, it's going to... the little markings we're going to put onto this map are going to be places where encounters are. So they're going to be places that lead to a battle map, which will be the next evolution of this particular project. Because to be honest, I don't build a lot of battle maps. I tend myself, pardon me, to be a more a theater of the mind sort of a game master. And it was only when I started using VTT stuff with my friends that I actually started to take encounter maps more seriously. Because prior to that, the only time I'd really used encounter maps was with Heavy Gear. Because that was a game where encounter maps were not optional. Like they were, you could do theater of the mind, but it was way more challenging than if you had the hex maps that they made for it. And also the hex maps they made for it were absolutely beautiful, just so nice. And so many cardboard cutouts back in the day. Like somewhere around here I have, well, not somewhere, it's like right up there on my bookshelf. I've got an envelope from like the early 90s that is still full of all the cardboard cutouts that there were for Heavy Gear. And it was like, especially because we didn't have like a ton of money for miniatures back in the day, and all the miniatures back then too were also like metal. It was really nice to have a game where I could just get out all these little bits of cardboard and be good to go. But in terms of like non-tactical gaming, I just never really got into it. So that will be the next part of this. After this map is developed, what we'll do in the coming weeks is build the battle maps for this area. And then we'll go back to Balom Village, develop another area, develop some battle maps for that. And then as this cycle continues to go, because I'm really enjoying this. This is a lot of fun. I get to make maps, and sometimes people watch me. It's good. It's like my old job, but with less stress somehow. Oh, that's perfect. Oh yeah, that fit in beautifully. Yeah, less stress is always good. Like I have stress from other things now, but like we're signing my kid up for school tomorrow morning, and so got stuff like that happening. But at the same time, I'm not worried about missing a deadline for. Well, I am worried about missing deadlines for other things. But I think what I'm trying to say is just that it's making maps is becoming fun for me again. Wait, am I doing the same? Yeah, I'm doing the same thing I did before. I'm making a pit. That piece is correct. At least I caught it this time before I'd finished build or finished making the shape. Just put those there for now. And that's looking good. And then, yeah, that's a nice little natural entrance up to the top area. So you can see by reversing them that way, it creates a different flow. So, like down here, I have them facing downward, so it looks like the ground is sort of pouring down towards that way. And same with these ones. But up here, because I've reversed the direction that they're going to make them fit better, now it looks like the ground is closing as you go up, so it's a natural choke point. Alright, so there we go, got that done. Switch to this, yeah. Switch to foreground, so I'm painting the right thing. Now, if you really want to gamify your hill to help communicate with your players, because sometimes that helps a lot. We always have to remember that when we're building maps, maps are not just pretty pictures, they are also a very effective way of communication with your players as to what exactly you're doing, trying to do, all that sort of stuff. So if you have some players who have trouble with maps, and this is totally a thing, some people just have issues with maps for whatever reason. What you can do is on hills where you get this all painted in here. On hills where you have stratification, like what I've got going on here. Hey, there's some players that'll look at that and they'll be like, ugh, that's they'll have trouble parsing it. So what you can do is go into your catalog here, grass, and you can select a different shade for the intermediate layers. So now that gives the this upper area, or this that middle layer, a more distinct look. This isn't for everybody. It's not necessary. I'm going to be sticking to it like that, but it is an option that you have in order to better communicate with your map. Hang on a moment here. I'm going to hit save first. I'm going to open up another tab with the other map for so we can sort of review things, because we're coming up on the end of this show. All right. Or, I'll just do this. I'm good, thanks. There you go. Edit map. There you are. So, now we've got that's laid out. Maybe we still have our mine here, and we have space to work with. Okay, so there's that big tree. Over here, select our trees. Select a tree first. There we go. There's the thing, is you don't have to stitch all these maps together. And that's something that can actually be a bit of a problem for some people because we naturally want to connect up all of our maps, especially if it's in sort of a localized area like this, because it's what we're used to seeing with like conventional topographical maps or navigational maps that we're using in the real world. You have an area like this that's beside an existing area. So obviously, why can't you put these maps side by side and sort of stitch them together into a bigger operation? And for game purposes, yes, you can do that. There's absolutely benefits to doing so. However, there's that big however though. However, it can get problematic quickly because when you expand the map like this, you're now working in an area that is inherently different to the one that you started in. And ooh, yeah, that's a lot of changes. Trees fill up your changelog fast. So, for example, on the other map, we don't have this line. We don't have all these trees doing their thing. And that means that, logically we'd want to connect this up. Like, okay, this is going to be the area just south of the road. But it's okay. You don't have to do that because it's for a game. It's not for a contiguous world. Like this is a localized map you need to do. You need for the specific purpose of the player characters navigating around to get to encounters. And that's it. It doesn't have to be connected to anything else. We know where the connection point is right here. So we can just reference back to this map and know that this is Grafis Hill here. And we just reference back to this map here and be like, oh, okay, that's how that works. Good to go. So the fact that we've added a few extra trees and there are showing right here, that's fine. Like, don't worry about it. This map's job is to communicate encounter areas, not to seamlessly fit tree for tree with the village map. And if you have players who insist that it has to match tree for tree, then you can invite them to spend the time and effort on Incarnate to put it all there. Okay, because like we are this is the 5th week of this particular map set. We're going to be at least 6 or so hours into things by the end of it. And that's a lot of time. Okay, I'm gonna hit that save button. That's a lot of time that we spent. Like, the started out as a 90-minute village, and now we're like 6 hours in. We're developing it. We're building an entire little, what's essentially a micro campaign setting around this village. And like as a game master, that's time. Time could be used to do virtually anything else. And so we're just going to open the catalog one more time. And we're going to go for ruins. Let's go for destroyed. I'll give a few different options. Other cities. So, ruin. Nope. Trying to find something to put on the top. Oh, I like that stone. Giant stone right at the top of the map. There, love it. Okay, so I'm going to hit the save button. And yeah, let's talk about what happened today. So a lot went down today. So coming back over to the original 90-minute village, Balom Village here. Cool stuff got done. We dropped all these stones around the fields and designated them as rune stones. So basically, it helps them grow more through more of the year. We expanded all the forested areas, so now it looks all nice and foresty. Found these giant trees, dropped 3 of them on there. Good to go. So we can do some writing about those in terms of like what we want the players to be able to do. We've got 14 points of interest on this map, which is great. So we got stuff in the village, a couple of things that are more adventurer centric outside the village. We've got 3 potential encounter areas just by default set up. So we've got what we're now calling Grafis Hill, which is right here, which we'll go to in a moment, with a mine on it. We have a ruined tower here, and we have some miscellaneous sort of ruins up here. So we got options. So this map's already communicating a lot, and as far as I'm concerned right now, Balom Village, like this map itself, is pretty rock solid. Like this is sufficient for us to get going with running adventures, doing things, all that sort of stuff. So from here on out, this is going to be a map we'll be coming to dissect parts off of in order to build smaller maps with more detail for the encounter areas for our players. Which brings us over to Grafis Hill encounter area. So this is our first encounter area we're working on. So there's the mine. Here, let's go to fit to screen. There we go. So we got our mine there. I threw this big stone down up on top because I think it looks cool. Gotta figure out something to do with that. I think I may make this tree. No, well, it's scaled. So we got our big tree there. So that's our link up to the original map. And I've thrown some forest around here. And what's going to come next is I'm going to drop a few more things. Maybe a little campsite. Maybe dig into the battle mat things for some bones or something like that. Drop those on there. Those are going to designate our encounter areas, and from there we're going to move on to making battle maps for them. And as I said earlier in the stream, battle maps are an area that I'm not particularly strong in because I haven't used them a lot before. Like I only really started getting into them when I started getting into using VTTs to play games with my friends. So it's going to be a whole encounter map, battle map experience that we're all going to get to have together. And yeah, that's where we're going to leave off today. It was a pretty good effort. So what's going to happen off screen now is I'll be taking this map here, Balom Village. I'll be taking it over to a different app called Canva, where I will be doing the rest of this and tidying up, not tidying up, but making it map pretty and adding all the points of interest along the side here so that you'll be able to tell what they are And hopefully this will be up on the Discord for the for all of my monthly supporters to grab and use for their own ends. Hopefully that'll be done for the weekend, maybe next Monday. And I'll be back streaming on Tuesday. We'll be finishing up Grafis Hill, hopefully, and getting into building the battle mats for it. So thank you very much for watching, if you still are. I hope you all have a great day. Please don't forget to like and subscribe on whatever service you happen to be watching this on, whether it's Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook. And yeah, have a good one.